How's it going, everybody? This is General Low Fox here, my video games cartoons, and today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different, and that's actually going to be about Wonder Woman. So, yeah, I know, I'm talking about some DC Comics and stuff, I know. Usually I talk about TMNT and Sonic and all that stuff, but, I'm trying my hand at other things and stuff, because I'm always opinionated, so I like to just throw it out there. So, basically, WB had kind of just canceled a Wonder Woman game that was kind of in the works for a couple of years, and there's some backlash for that decision, so I think it's kind of just dodging a bullet to a degree, given how like her character like was treated poorly inside the games like Injustice and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where in Injustice they had bastardized her character, even though I know it's an Elseworld story where the the parallel heroes and stuff are like, turned evil because things gone bad. It's still kind of out of character. It's just like feels like a bastardization and stuff. Where in that version, that the Injustice Wonder Woman was enabling Superman's tyrannical like behavior and all that stuff, and she was kind of like romanticizing it to like romanticizing like that aspect about him and all that stuff, and then if you go on YouTube and stuff and type up Injustice Wonder Woman, I'm pretty sure you're gonna see like a ton of videos talking about why Injustice Wonder Woman was probably like the villain in the game and stuff, because she was egging him on, she was encouraging him to do all this, and what he was doing was right. He was killing people and stuff, doing all this extra stuff. I'm like, yeah. And in actuality, in the comics, look, Wonder Woman can understand where Superman's coming from as far as like his grief and stuff over Lois, but she ain't gonna be like, oh, this is right now. She's gonna call him out and be like, all right, nah, you gotta put a stop to this now. That's probably more in character than what Injustice did. And then of course there's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which did it no better, where they kind of like covered up Wonder Woman by giving her some just this outfit and stuff, made her like androgynous, uglified her, and then killed her off against a brainwashed Superman. Then even after that, the game devs kind of retconned the ending where the Justice League, where they were like controlled, brainwashed, and fought the Suicide Squad, and they all died fighting them and stuff. Turns out that they were all clones, like Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, and the Flash. They were all clones, with the exception of Wonder Woman. So the Wonder Woman that fought the clone version of Superman, she was the real Wonder Woman that died in battle, and they had made a statue in her honor and all that stuff. But it's like, damn, like that was just stupid. So you're telling me that this is all a part of Batman's contingency plan to have the Suicide Squad kill a bunch of clone versions? And these are like B-list type Suicide Squad members. These aren't characters that are really like they are known for like their little covert missions or whatever, but taking down the Justice League, no, not these characters, not Deadshot and Harley Quinn and King Shark and all of them, no, or Captain Boomerang. Like, come on, against Superman, yeah, sure. But anyways, but oh, it was a part of Batman's contingency plan, and he couldn't come up with a plan that didn't involve getting Wonder Woman killed. Okay, so that was pretty dumb. But they're trying to clean it up with that writing and stuff. But, and not to mention, this is supposed to be the Arkhamverse, so that's like, oh, your introduction to the Arkhamverse as far as like the Justice League goes, and you kill off Wonder Woman in that very first game that she appears in the Arkhamverse. Okay, cool. But it's definitely a missed opportunity, in my opinion, to where I really feel like the character just needs a lot more like focus and stuff, since she's kind of always like the only Trinity member between Superman and Batman that just gets neglected like the most. As far as attention goes, I think Superman could use some elbow grease, where people's generalization comes from the Christopher Reeves movies rather than the actual comics itself. But even then, I mean, he has some of his own cartoons already, like the 1940s cartoon, the Superman the Animated Series, the DCAMU, that garbage My Adventures Superman show, and even the Legion of Superheroes cartoon, where he was kind of the central hero. That was a very underrated show that not a lot of people talk about nowadays. But yeah, the Legions of Superheroes. Comment down below if you guys ever seen that. And then of course we had Smallville, which was a 10-year-long live-action series and stuff. I think that was probably one of the best superhero live-action shows, in my opinion, to this very day. They have a few animated movies, and Man of Steel. and stuff, you know. And then there's Batman, who grew into like popularity from the Tim Burton movies and stuff, resulting in, you know, Batman animated series, which became the parent series to Superman, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, the Zeta Project, and Justice League Unlimited, which also brought about the Batman Arkham video games, the Dark Knight trilogy, and several animated movies. So DC definitely puts a lot of focus on Batman to the point that they have to like try to like correlate everything, whether it's a bad or upcoming show or something, just to him. Like Gotham, Gotham Knights, Batwoman, Titans, or Penguin. While, I mean, I personally like Gotham and stuff, and I hear really good things about the Penguin. I hear it's like a really phenomenal show and well acted and everything and well written. They're both kind of just noir crime shows told without Batman. So it's like, okay, so you guys kind of wanted to kind of get your little crime gangster thing going on, and you wanted to tell about Batman or some kind of prequel or a spinoff. But it's like, okay, but if you're not doing it with Batman or you're ignoring the fantastical elements about it, then what's the point? You know what I mean? But that's not me saying Gotham and Penguin are bad shows. I'm just saying, like, it would have been better if you included Batman into the thing, but it just seems like you're just using his name and his characters just to put this out, you know what I mean? Then Titans has a very unhealthy attachment to the Batman, where it takes place in Gotham, and even like with Superboy, Starfire, Wonder Girl, and Raven and stuff, they're all struggling to defeat Scarecrow and Jason Todd, who just somehow keeps outsmarting them. And this is an inexperienced Jason Todd, by the way, who was only Robin for a little bit, and then, yeah, and somehow he's able to go toe-to-toe with the Titans like this. Come on. But anyways, then of course, The Flash, that's also a really good example where in that movie, the marketing for that movie was nothing but promoting Michael Keaton's return as Batman and stuff versus actually marketing The Flash and all that stuff, you know? And this isn't just me hating on Batman, I'm just pointing out how DC just has a love-hate, kind of an abusive relationship too, with Batman the character, which it kind of feels, like I said, not only abusive, but it just really like a disservice to a lot of other heroes that really need a lot more like spotlight, you know? And if DC is willing to put in that much effort into like other things, like a 12-year unnecessarily long show like Teen Titans Go, 5 seasons of Harley Quinn, a Suicide Squad isekai anime for some apparent reason, and an upcoming Starfire, Blue Beetle, and Jessica Cruz, a character who honestly doesn't even deserve a series, then I don't see why Wonder Woman gets nothing announced but a canceled video game. And what's crazy is Creature Commandos and the upcoming Paradise Lost show is utilizing her lore and characters. It's like kind of just line skipping at its finest when it comes to like, you know, her character and stuff. Like I'm just imagining like Wonder Woman or a Wonder Woman fan just being in line, and it's like right up next to get something, and then everybody else come out of nowhere and you gotta wait like you know, a couple of hours or so in line, and it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. You know, that's exactly how I'm imagining it. So you're probably thinking deep down, what makes Diana a Trinity member alongside with Batman and Superman than just being a token female of the group? Now, when you have characters like Flash, Green Lantern, or Green Arrow at your disposal, well, let me kind of enlighten you. Now, Flash and Green Lantern and Green Arrow have never actually had long going runs compared to like Wonder Woman, okay? For example, if you search up each of their characters like, you know, Barry Allen, Hal Jordan, or Oliver Queen on like Comic Vine right now, okay? So if you are able to go to Comic Vine, search up either any of these three, go to the comics section, not comments, comics and stuff, and look at how many comic book appearances that they have all appeared in, okay? Now come back to this video. Okay, now if you're back, they're about, okay, these three of them, right, have guest starred in over 200 Batman comics, whereas none of them have had their own solo runs, or, you know, they've never had their own solo runs that's come close to these like numbers unless you really combine them, okay? And another thing too is that these three characters have all kind of died and have been kind of replaced and stuff for like long periods of time. And I'm not talking about like a death of Superman long, or I'm not talking about like a death of Jason Todd or a Gwen Stacy type of long. I'm talking like at least for over a decade or two, okay? Like after Barry and Hal's deaths in Crisis on Infinite Earths or Emerald Twilight, They've been replaced by Wally West and Kyle Rayner and stuff, or Oliver Queen. He's been replaced by his son, Connor Hawke. Okay? Like, right after their deaths and stuff. It's like they didn't really leave much of a major impact on the DC universe. Or they did. They did, because, Barry saved the multiverse and how, he became Parallax and stuff. And, Green Arrow is Green Arrow. But what I'm saying, though, is, like, you can kind of continue on with the DC universe without those three specific characters, okay? And like I said, hardly no one complained. But for the Trinity, I mean, yeah, there have been some moments where they've died or been replaced by like a more worthy successor, but we always go back to the OGs. Yeah, Diana's been substituted for Donna Troy, Cassie Sanmark, Nubia, her black twin sister, or Artemis, but we've always like returned to Diana Prince for a reason. Just like how with Bruce Wayne, I mean, of course, there's other people like Terry McGinnis, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, who have became Batman, Paul John Valley, but we go back to Bruce Wayne. Or Clark Kent. Of course, there's been other people too, like Connor Kent, John Kent, who's been another Superman, just in general, or what, the Eradicator or the Last Son of Krypton. But again, we go back to Clark Kent. It's the same thing, because that's the Trinity. And I'm not telling you that Wonder Woman is a better hero than Green Arrow or Green Lantern or the Flash or whatever. I mean, you're allowed to think what you want. I mean, it's an opinion at the end of the day, so it's subjective. But what I'm saying, though, in terms of like, obviously who's more popular or who's more workable and stuff, yeah, Wonder Woman's probably that character and stuff, since she's had more of an ongoing run, or she's not constantly relaunched over and over again, But yeah, I mean, in recent years, that might be a little bit different ever since they crossed into like the New 52 territory, I guess. But still, like, Wonder Woman's like one of the major especially for a female character, to really have a very consistent run for a long time, for like decades even. So what does Wonder Woman bring to the table? Obviously, she's not the most powerfulest when there's other powerhouses like Spectre or Captain Atom, but what she does bring to the table is the Greek mythology and the mystical side of things to the DC universe. We know Batman deals with organized crime and the street level aspects of things. We know Superman also deals with that, including intergalactic problems, but Wonder Woman deals with magic, gods, and immortals as her villains. Her gods are also connected to Darkseid and the new gods, since they were kind of created by the same force of power, which gives him a reason to want to come to Earth from time to time to discover its secrets. Wonder Woman is also one of the first female superheroes in comics, especially that she has her own run since 1941 for a reason, so the character is always still relevant, even after almost like 80 years. It's also so successful that Marvel's been trying to attempt to kind of branch out their own female characters just to compete with her, like currently right now. I mean, they have like multiple X-Men females and stuff, whether it be Psylocke, Rogue, Storm, Magic, Mystique for some reason, even though Mystique's not even a hero. But they've been trying to branch them out because they want to, they want to strike gold with a standout female, like with a standalone female character. But I mean, just hate to say it, but it's just not working. But yeah. Especially after that whole 2017 movie with the Wonder Woman and all that stuff. I mean, the MCU's been trying to find like some kind of female character that can even compete or be their Wonder Woman of the MCU and stuff, whether it be Black Widow, which is kind of dumb anyways because they killed her off and all that stuff and then gave her a movie. But if they wanted to make it Black Widow's sister and stuff, Elena, I mean, we know she's not going to be up there with Wonder Woman. That's just a fact. They tried that a lot with Captain Marvel, and you can see how, yeah, we're all not really liking Captain Marvel and stuff, And while Marvel has, like, definitely they do have a lot of good female characters, don't get it twisted. They do have good female characters, like Storm, Invisible Woman, Rogue, Miss Marvel, Black Widow, or Elektra. They're all loosely connected to, like, a team or a faction or just partner with a specific character than being their own standalone character and stuff, And mini runs and all that stuff, that doesn't really count. And it's not to say that they don't have, like, not to say that they're not powerful enough or they lack the power or they don't have the appeal. They're just, there's just a lot more you can just do with Diana herself, by herself, than those other characters that I had just, mentioned. Wonder Woman is well known by the mainstream for the Linda Carter show from the 70s, Super Friends, and of course Justice League. She's had a lot of good episodes from Justice League cartoon like Paradise Lost, Fury, Maid of Honor, For the Man Who Has Everything, Hawk and Dove, The Balance, To Another Shore, Dead Reckoning, Grudge Match, and so on and so forth. Before I give my opinion on Wonder Woman, I'll give my thoughts on the Amazons first. Amazons are a race of immortal women created by the gods from the souls of women that was killed from domestic violence throughout history. Their purpose is to worship the Greek gods so that they can kind of continue their existence after humanity kind of lost belief in them. They're not exactly a warrior cult, not a group of like lesbians or anything like that, or a man-hating group of like feminists. No, at least they weren't originally depicted like that in the modern comics and stuff, because currently some of the writers just don't understand the depth of them. They have been used and abused in the past, so they're a bit reluctant to like let their guard down, but they are willing to like make peace with humanity, which is why Diana acts as their ambassador to the man's world. In my opinion, I think Diana Prince is meant to be more of an exemplary idea of a young adult woman setting out on her own. She has an overprotective mom, Queen Hippolyta, who cherishes her, but restricts her from like doing anything too dangerous until she won the games and stuff after disobeying her. Diana is actually supposed to be in her like 20s, but Rebirth and New 52 it kind of made her at least 1,000 years old to kind of do retellings of her during World War II and stuff, like in her Golden Age counterpart. But regardless, Wonder Woman isn't like a Punisher or a Rambo type, despite being a traditional hero that doesn't have like a no-kill rule. But she is willing to like do whatever it takes and look for different solutions, whether it's reasonable or forceful. She doesn't really have like a secret identity except in some versions, so she's kind of considered a celebrity. She's also humble enough to like work day-to-day jobs and has lived with professors and historians and stuff that study like Greek and all that, which is kind of how she kind of became very close to like Vanessa Capletis, the third Silver Swan, and Cassie Sandmark becoming an older sister and like a role model for both of them. I think Diana is a gentle, graceful person, able to like get along with others well. She has a no tolerance for disrespect or self-loathing, even from the gods that she worships and stuff. I'm not saying every comic of hers is a winner, but it can go from like sensational to an epic tale. Reading Batman and Superman is good, but if you want to like really read something outside of just that, and if you really want to see like a different side of like DC, then I recommend just picking up Wentz, just not the Tom King run or any other type of terrible runs, because what he's doing is everything that is that just goes against the character. Like I recommend reading like more so like the George Perez runs, since that's highly praised and regarded, and that kind of reshaped the character. And I'm currently reading the John Burns run right now, which is also pretty good, and he also helped read Superman. And maybe pick up a few Silver or Bronze Age comics of hers. These stories, I believe, are a good representation of her character, and even though her villains aren't exactly as iconic as Batman or Superman's, they can make for some pretty interesting bosses, like Ares, Hercules, Circe, Cheetah, Giganta, Silver Swan, Dr. Psycho, etc. And if they invested more time, they could actually make this like a DC brand, like God of War or something. If I had like the choice myself, I would definitely try to make Wonder Woman more like into a beat 'em up, like Bayonetta, where her lasso can be like a primary weapon. Her bracelets can be like an invade or parry against projectiles, and she can be like she can definitely switch out for like her sword or shield or other types of weapons. And it's not like they don't really have the keys to kind of make this work, because I mean, come on, if Marvel Rivals can make characters like Squirrel Girl, Magic, or Invisible Woman interesting to the public, then DC doesn't have any excuse either. Even though, granted, that is on Marvel Rivals, which is done by a Chinese company, but compared to Marvel Comics itself, but still. If they can make that work, then DC, they can make Wonder Woman work if they just drop all this weird feminist stuff that they want to include to the stories and actually go about this the right way. But anyways, tell me down below what you guys think. Do you guys think that a Wonder Woman game would have been interesting? Does this make you want to go check out Wonder Woman now? Are you a fan? And what do you think of Wonder Woman's treatment? All right, comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is John Little Fox, and I'm out. Peace, and until we meet again.
And I was thinking of what was going on at DC since the Crisis on Infinite Earths series, of what was being done with Superman, what was being done with Batman. And I always felt that, that she was, as far as recognition, on a par with them. Most people would know Wonder Woman by name, and of course with the television series.
Absolutely.
As well. And since I did have that one story in mind, I asked, if you gave me enough time so I can develop from the beginning, would you want me to take over on doing Wonder Woman? That was all I had to ask. Because I was coming off the Teen Titans and Crisis. I was at the height of my popularity and my marketability. So to volunteer to take over of all books, Wonder Woman, when I could have had my pick of anything, that was all the salesmanship I needed.
I find it interesting you mentioned that a lot of the female staffers that weren't happy with the direction of the book. Because I thought one of the things that is fondly remembered about your run on Wonder Woman is the strong female characters you developed. Not just with Diana, but also with the villains. Cheetah, Decay, Silver Swan. You introduced and you reinvigorated many female characters in the mythos.
Plus, one of the things I wanted to do was, and this was again a change from the original concept, was that when Wonder Woman came to Patriarch's world for the first time, that she had a strong female guide. So I developed the Boston professor Julia Capitellis and gave her a young daughter, so someone could actually see Diana from a youngster's point of view. So yes, I was trying very hard to give her a strong female-centric base, with, of course, not ignoring Steve Trevor and other male characters. I had two great compliments I had. Well, when people read my book, one woman who was reading my Wonder Woman for the first time and was surprised it was written by a man, and it was a female writer who said this, who knew my work. She said when she read it, she was surprised it was written by a straight man. I'm proud of those compliments.